Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Blitz Sports Media. My name is Ryan Linkletter. We're back with another 7-round mock draft, dropping 2 a day, heading up into the NFL draft. Make sure you guys are staying tuned. Notifications on. We are having a draft live stream at 7:30 Eastern time on the first round of the draft. I will personally be at the draft in Green Bay, interviewing prospects and people there, while also we have some hosts on Blitz Sports Media hosting it. So let's hop right into this, going into the 49ers projected 7-round mock draft. Now, the 49ers are coming off a year where basically injuries were the name of the game. You had major injuries to significant contributors on this team like Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, and on the defensive side of the ball consistently a bunch of injuries. Now, a lot of people want to talk about the offensive line play last season for the 49ers. I'm not going to be one of those people. Their biggest problem last year was depth on this unit, not being able to fulfill some of the positions that were injured. I truly think they're set up for success with the offensive lineman they do have under contract for the 2025 season, and that is not going to be one of my biggest focuses on this draft. My focus is going to be on the defensive side of the ball that showed signs of regression last season and really need a new youth movement on the 49ers defense. Now, we know they have Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, two of the best players in the NFL at their positions, but they need more on this defensive side of the ball. They struggled against the run and the pass at times last season. And I think going into this draft, they need to go establish that within the first few rounds. And I think picking at 11, they're going to get themselves a really good defender, whether that is an edge rusher, defensive tackle, cornerback, whatever they want, whoever's available is going to make the most sense. So let's hop right into this and get into the 49ers 7-round mock draft.
All right, let's get right into this San Francisco 49ers mock draft. Looking at the guys taken ahead of us. Cam Ward 1, Hunter 2, Carter 3, Graham 4, Campbell 5, Genty 6, Membu 7, Barron 8. I think if Barron's available, I think they pick him at 11. Tet McMillan at 9, Tyler Warren at 10. I think out of those guys, Barron makes the most sense. They could be available at 11 that they strongly consider taking. I think Will Johnson, another player they will strongly consider taking at cornerback. But to be honest, I think they're leaning edge rusher, interior defensive lineman. And I think with the depth at the interior defensive lineman position in terms of run stuffing ability, I think they do pass on Walter Nolan. I think it's more of a Mike Green, Donovan Ezuraku, an edge rusher that could be available at this time that they're going to take a look at. And personally, I think Mike Green is the real deal coming out of Marshall. He definitely has the numbers to prove that he was elite. 17 sacks this past season, elite pass rushing numbers. I know he was at a smaller school, but I think his production can translate to the NFL. And I have him as one of my top 5 prospects heading into the draft. I think it'd be a great get for the San Francisco 49ers. Now, heading into round 2, you have a really, really good amount of cornerbacks and interior defensive linemen available at this point. Omar Norman Lott, extremely good pass rush win rates and pass rush grades, but we saw them invest a ton of money in Javon Hargrave as a pass rush defensive tackle, and it compromised their run defense. So I don't know if they're going to look at that type of a player. So I think they pass on him and they look at the cornerbacks. Siobhan Ravel is my highest rated corner, but I've personally been mocking him in too many drafts, so we're going to pass on him. The second rated corner is Benjamin Morrison that's available. Morrison had really good production during his time at Notre Dame. In 2022, had a passer rating allowed of 29.2, and then this past season at 58.4. 3 straight years of really good production. Definitely a solid zone corner cover. Can't talk right now, but Morrison makes a ton of sense there, and I've seen some people even having them trade back and pick him in the first. So I think getting him in the second makes a ton of sense for this team. Heading into the third round here, you still have some needs. I think Kyle Williams, if they do wind up trading Brandon Ayuk, makes a ton of sense, but I don't see them investing in that high at receiver. Tate Ratledge, I know some people think they need guards, but I'm not necessarily going to go that direction. Alfred Collins is the guy that they need desperately. 85 grade against the run last season. Doesn't necessarily have the best pass rush numbers, but getting this guy right here makes a ton of sense for them in terms of their needs as a team in round 3. Collins will be the guy that stuffs the middle and slows down the run, which we saw the 49ers allow way too many times last year. Now, the next position that needed addressing is the tackle position. Anthony Belton's their guy. 87.3 pass block grade last year, 82.2 true pass block grade. A left tackle only, can potentially develop into a right tackle, but he's going to be learning under Trent Williams and could be the guy long term there if he develops, and he will have time to develop with Trent Williams still under contract. Now, heading into round 4, they do still have some needs. Jeffrey Bosa makes some sense to add a linebacker, but I'm not necessarily convinced he's a great prospect. A guy that I do always like is RJ Mickens here. Can play everywhere over the top and I think he really could be the guy that replaces Hufanga in that secondary. So I think him in the 4th round makes a ton of sense for the 49ers here. Heading into end of round 4, things get a little bit interesting with who's available and who they're looking at. A guy that I really like that's available, Jack Kaiser, really good run-stopping grades for them. And I think replacing a guy like Dre Greenlaw, it's really tough to replace his production and pass coverage. I think Jack Kaiser could be a guy that just replaces the run-stopping production there for the 49ers and gives them a linebacker option that could develop alongside Fred Warner. Heading into our next pick here, Cameron Jackson, a guy that I really like, makes a ton of sense. I think we're going to go with him. Another run-stopping defensive tackle to go give them 2 guys that can absolutely blow up run plays in San Francisco long term. Heading into our next pick in round 5 here, Seth McLaughlin, a guy I really like, gives them some interior offensive lineman depth, but I'm not going to go that direction. We're going to scroll down here and see who we got. Kobe King, I really like. Samuel Brown, Connor Colby. I think I'm going to go Connor Colby here. Colby makes a ton of sense. Was really good in terms of zone grade, and that's what the 49ers run, is they run a zone run scheme. I think Colby makes a ton of sense. Could be a really good fit in San Francisco and gives them another offensive lineman that can fill in when needed, like last season when they had a ton of injuries. Based on who's available in round 7, Elijah Badger is a wide receiver that they can pick up, develop potentially if needed. Throw him in there, was really good against man coverage. Into our next pick here, I think this is where they potentially look running back. Corey Kiner is a guy I really liked for them. Gap grade of 86.7, zone grade of 83.3. Good production, 2 years over 1,000 yards. Gives them an option potentially if they have some injuries with McCaffrey and Garendo next season at the running back position. And then heading into our last pick here, I think it's interesting. They can go get a 3rd quarterback. They can go interior offensive lineman with Dellinger. They can go cornerback again. It's definitely interesting where we want to see them go. I think Mac McWilliams here is an interesting prospect. Good 84.8 cover grade. Really good in zone coverage at 80.5. Could really work out in the 49ers zone scheme that they love to run on the defensive side of the ball. So let's take a look at some of our best grades here. A's for Green, Collins, and Belton. Definitely really good picks there. Some mixed grades throughout. I don't know how RJ Mickens got us a D- in the 4th. I think that's an absolute steal.
All right, folks, there it is. The 49ers 7th-round mock. We went Mike Green in the 1st round, and like I said, I absolutely love Mike Green as a prospect. Despite him being from a small school, the production's there, the numbers are there, the body is there. He is going to be a great player in the NFL, and I think if the 49ers pair him with Nick Bosa, he is going to be absolute superstar for this team, not having to deal with double teams as much. Can't double team both Nick Bosa and Mike Green. They finally get themselves a consistent edge rusher outside of Nick Bosa. And then in the 2nd round, you get a guy like Benjamin Morrison, who I really like from Notre Dame, had really good production in all of his years in college, is going to be a very good player for them on the outside at cornerback. And then in the 3rd round, you get an interior lineman like Alfred Collins to stop the run, something that they haven't had from the interior defensive lineman position in a few years now. Throughout the rest of the draft, you go and address some smaller holes like a back at left tackle, get a guy like Anthony Belton, and then you get a safety like RJ Mickens with that ball hawk ability that they lost when losing Hufanga. Now, some other players, obviously, that we talked about there, Kaiser, Jackson, Colby, really fit into the scheme well and can be contributors in their first years despite being picked in the later rounds of the draft. What do you guys think? Can this 49ers draft get them back on the right track and compete for a Super Bowl? If you guys are interested in more Blitz Sports Media content, make sure you check out some of our other videos on our channel. Hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys next time.